What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage. Kind of a different video for you guys tonight. Kind of like our problem solved video before with the anti-flash and the LED headlights. We're going to be talking about the PRP seats. Saw on the front seat install video there's a couple questions, how we did certain things. Also going to be talking about a couple things that I found and adjusted with the way I installed it. It's been a few months now. We've had a few different trips. We've had 3-hour-long highway drives. We've had we did our Roush Creek and AOAA trip. So we got 3 really full wheeling days in on that. I've had people in the passenger seats. I've been in the driver's seat. Shay was in the driver's seat. So a couple little things that we sort of picked up on, and a couple little things I did to tweak it, make it more comfortable. And we're going to end the video talking about a big update coming to Oculus here. It's one that I'm really excited for. Had this in the build plan for a while. This is kind of one of those monumental things for a build plan where it's like, holy crap, that's a big step. And I'm super excited about it. The install, I got no shame in saying it. It goes outside of my wheelhouse, my expertise. I'm calling in some pros who they're much better at this than I am. So going to be making some stuff with them. Going to be showing what they're doing, how they install it, and really excited about sharing all that stuff with you guys. So let's cut right into it. Let's talk about these PRP seats. Some cool things I found, a couple of things I did in the adjustment, and then big update coming up. I got a pile of parts there I need to talk about too. Let's do it. Alright, so let's talk about our wheel time with the PRP seats and kind of the experience with them. So we put these in back in July. So it's December now, so they've been in about 5 months. During that time, July, unfortunately, somebody decided to smash something on an install, but the good news is the thumb is mostly normal now. Good news there. So that kind of put a sideline to any July trips for a while. But August, we had our Pennsylvania trip. We did 3 days worth of wheeling there, close to 8 hours a day. One of the days we did a couple trails at Roush Creek, a couple trails at AOA, and then the last 2 days were all Roush Creek, taking groups around there, helping out with the Wicked event out there. Great time, awesome time wheeling. Dad was with me, so he got some wheel time. He was able to experience 37s and the Hydra Assist, and normally he's got a Grand Cherokee, so it was a whole different feel for him anyway. He's got a WK2. Maybe we'll do a little feature on his build soon. But he got to feel it out. He got to feel the PRP seats, and he liked them. I liked them. Spent time in the passenger seat, spent time in the driver's seat. I got nothing but good things to say. From there, in September, we did Detroit 4 Fest, which actually, the Friday night before Detroit 4 Fest, we had the opportunity to go on their night run, which was a lot of fun. That was actually Shay's first time at Hollyoaks, the ORV park in Michigan. It was her first time wheeling on the 37s with Oculus. It was her first time with the Hydra Assist on Oculus, and it was her first night run. So, night of first for her. That was really cool. She had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. We made sure she got some wheel time in there, and we all enjoyed it. So, good news there. She was happy with the seats. She was happy with the way Oculus was driving. She's definitely one of those people who, if there's something, if I need to get out and spot for somebody else, Shay takes over the driver's seat for me every time. And she was comfortable with it, so definitely happy about that. And then October, we had our fall color run up in St. Helens, Michigan. Lots of fun. Good, decent day on the trail, kind of, it's one of those where you get to see the fall colors. You don't go there for hard technical wheeling, and that's okay. One of the beautiful things about Michigan is how beautiful it is. The fall color run is an awesome time to just go up, do some exploring, and that's what we got to do with the Jeep. So that was a full day of wheeling there. Plus, to get there, it was probably about 3 hours on the highway, back and forth. So, you know, lots of highway time in there. Lots of time driving this to work and all that stuff in between too. But that was a good test on daily driving this, on a highway with just your simple road conditions. And I'm happy to report that it held up really well there too. There was one of those mornings, there was frost all over the ground, and I was really happy with the performance of their heated seats. We kept the factory harnesses, the factory wiring going out of the seat, but the heating elements that PRP picked for the seats worked beautifully. I was nice and warm. I didn't have to wait long. It was heated, and I was comfortable for probably 45 minutes from where we were staying to where we were going to be meeting up with everybody in Wheeling that day. So very happy about that. They've held up on the road, they've held up off the road. November we didn't have too many. We did have another trip up north, but that was just kind of more highway driving. So it's held up really well on the road. It's held up really well off the road. Happy about it overall. We've had a couple different passengers in it. The style I picked, it is one that has more side bolstering, a little bit more back bolstering. So it's one of those where I knew what I was going to do. I had the chance to sit in some of these at different events like King of the Hammers, where PRP brings all their stuff. You can sit down, you can feel the seats, feel that different side bolstering of the 4 different styles. So I had an idea what I wanted. We had a couple passengers who they didn't like how much side bolstering there was. That's okay. It's important to figure that out, what you want, what you're going to be doing with the vehicle really, what fits you as the driver and your needs. So for the passenger seat, we're talking about maybe getting like the daily style where it's more flat across, it doesn't have the side bolstering. For me, the driver, I want that extra side bolstering. I want to be held in by this seat. We know this is going to get another cage, another harnesses, and all that stuff. That's in future plans. So we want to make sure that when all that stuff is in there, if something goes on, that harness and the seat are really just going to glue me into there. I'm not going to move. There's no side to side. I'm protected all the way around. So for me, I'm happy with it. For different passengers and stuff, they want to ride in the Jeep, they want to hop in and have a little bit of fun. We want them to experience it too, and we want it to be comfortable. So we may switch the passenger seat to a daily. It's that flat across style. Otherwise, all good things. These have held up awesome. They clean well, even though I don't clean my Jeep that much. But that's a personal problem. We also had a couple people ride in the back bench seat. They were pretty comfortable too. It was one where they weren't with me too long, so they didn't get to experience a full day's worth, but for like maybe the 15 minutes they were in the back, they were happy with it. It was comfortable. It's a 2-person bench, so you're not stuffing 3 people in there. It's just not happening. But those 2 people have plenty of room because there is no third person in there. Each person gets a little bit more space, and there is still some side bolstering even on that bench seat, so they can kind of hug up against that side and really be comfortable out there. So they were happy. We're happy overall. We're going to go through a couple of the little install things. Like I said, this is something where we wanted to reuse all the factory harnesses, all the factory seat belts, and we wanted to keep this as daily driving as possible, which meant using factory seat belts and again the factory seatbelt receivers. So gonna go through, gonna highlight a couple things. There's a couple things that I did initially on the install that had to be tweaked. Couple different elements as this seat is moving forward and backward. Obviously there's stuff like this, the seat belt where you want to be able to retract and all that stuff freely. So we changed the way we mounted this up. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Similarly on the seatbelt receivers all the way in there, there's not kind of a designated proven way to do it, so we got a little creative. We'll show that. We use longer bolts and we use spacers to do it. We use the existing holes, so that it's not like we had to get to fabricating. There was an option I explored for a little while on fabricating a bracket, but it was like, you know what, actually if I do this, it can be simpler, it's clean, and it's functional. And 5 months on the road, off the road, big trips, it's all held up. So very happy with that. We'll get into some of those details here next. But otherwise, nothing but good things to say about these PRP seats. Let's get into some of those install tips though. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how we attach the seat belt to the seat. As you can see here, we attached it to the outside. Initially, we actually had this on the inside. Like we mentioned before, you want your seat belts to be able to retract and move freely. You've always been in those car trips where all of a sudden the seat locks up on you and you can't pull it out and you're stuck and you have to unbuckle. We didn't want that to happen. When I put it on the inside of the bracket, I was running into that a lot. So moved it to the outside because on the inside there was always a little bit more pulled out, so I had to unbuckle, get it to release, and then move it. We moved it to the outside, and maybe occasionally I have to move it so it's parallel to the seat belt on the top of the B pillar. But now it's moving freely. That's fixed. That was something just had a little bit of a learning curve on it, a little bit of trial and error, and now we got it moving along and functioning really, really well. So next we got to talk about how we mounted the seatbelt receivers to the seats themselves. Again, we use the JK seat brackets from PRP. We use their existing mounting holes. We did this for a couple reasons. I did look at maybe doing my own bracket. There were a couple brackets I saw online for different aftermarket seats and seat belt holders and all that stuff. But you got to realize, if you're doing something like this, every time you move your seat around or you have a passenger move their seat around, if it's stuck to the stationary floor, moving it forward, all of a sudden that seatbelt receiver is gone. So we want to make sure we had it on the rails with the seat as it was moving forward and back, so you always had that seatbelt receiver. It was never tightening, it was never getting lost under the seat or anything like that. So we put it to the seat bracket itself, and we did this with some longer bolts and some spacers. We'll show a picture here for the passenger side, and here for the driver's side. Once we got these in, it's important to note the passenger side has that different style we showed in the install video that has that extra tensioner. That part we actually had zip tied up so it's not falling all over the place, it's not flopping around as we're moving the seats back and forth. It's nice parallel with the rest of the system, which is really important for something like that. So that's how we put these in here. No fabrication. You can see the little mark on there. Maybe I picked too long of a bolt to start with. We'll have all the specs up for the bolts and spacers I used, but this was a really easy way that didn't take too much fabrication. It was just something that keep it simple, stupid. So that's where we're at with the PRP seats now. Those are some of those install things that we kind of tweaked and adjusted as we had our time out on the trails and on the road, and kind of did those little fixes as we needed them. I kind of feel like when you're going past the normal directions and you're doing that little extra because you want it a certain way, that's kind of on you to take that burden and figure it out. And sometimes it's a trial and error thing, and we were able to make it work really well for the setup we have. Except we're about to change that setup. Like I mentioned, it is in the build plans to do a roll cage, and we have it. You might have seen the Black Friday kind of posts, or the deals that I posted after Black Friday, I guess, where found a good deal online and I couldn't pass it up. So we got a Gen-Rate cage, and this thing is loaded all the way out, every option. I'm super excited about this. We're going to show you guys as we go through the build, and this is definitely one of those where I do not claim to be a welder. This is one where I welded up like the trailer and stuff like that for the rooftop tent. I'm comfortable sleeping on it, but when this is a safety thing or it's structural, I want someone who knows what they're doing. I want an expert, and we made a call, and I'm very happy to say we're going to be working with Unlimited Off-Road Centers up in Fenton on this one. The cage is actually already there. The Jeep is going to be heading there here shortly. It may actually be there by the time this video is posted. You're going to start seeing some teasers out of there. We're going to shoot a little bit of content, kind of show what's going on with it, how it's going together, all that good stuff. And we're going to go, this isn't just going to be the standard cage. Yes, it's going to be the Generate cage. Yes, it's going to have all the features and benefits and all the design and work that those guys have put into this. But with Unlimited, I trust those guys there. They welded up my axles. They welded, when they did the truss and gussets on my axles with that Artec Apex kit, they actually welded it so the control arm mounts were higher. So I got a little bit of extra clearance out of that. So we want those kind of personal touches. That's why I'm bringing it to Unlimited. Because yes, they're very capable of following the directions and giving you exactly what that product is, but they take it a step above. They take it a notch up. And that's why we're going there. So there's a couple of things I was already talking with them about earlier in the week, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to show you guys all this. This is going to be so much fun. So next videos you're going to be seeing are stuff from Unlimited. We're going to be filming in their shop, taking this all apart, kind of showing those cool details that they're going to be going through, and you got to follow along. This is going to be so much fun. So like, subscribe, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the things. I'm pointing because maybe I'll put a card in here. Probably not, though. Anyway, I had fun. I can't wait for this. Hope you guys are going to stay tuned for this next part. This is going to get really fun, and there's going to be a lot of cool adventures with this roll cage and all the harnesses and stuff, because while it may not run King of the Hammers, I want to be able to pre-run, but undecided on a lot of that stuff. So stay tuned. This is going to be a good time. I like Jeeps. You guys like Jeeps? We'll see you next time. Bye.